Imagine your home destroyed by wildfires, your community devastated by historic flooding, and then the federal government says no to disaster relief. This isn't a hypothetical scenario. It's exactly what's happening right now in Colorado, and it's sparking a massive political firestorm between Governor Jared Polis and President Donald Trump. Stay with me, because this story reveals something much bigger about disaster politics in America. Late Saturday night, FEMA issued denial letters for Colorado's disaster declaration requests, 9 News, and the timing couldn't be more controversial. Let's rewind to understand what happened. In September, Governor Polis requested FEMA support for the Elk and Leaf fires in Rio Blanco County, and in November, he filed another request for flooding in Archuleta, La Plata, and Mineral counties, 9 News. Now here's where it gets interesting. The state claims these disasters exceeded FEMA's thresholds required to approve a major presidential disaster, and Colorado has already invested over $57 million responding to these disasters since July, 9 News. Picture entire neighborhoods underwater, families evacuated from their homes, and critical infrastructure like water and sewer systems completely destroyed. Nearly 400 homes faced evacuation, multiple boil water advisories were issued, and first responders conducted at least 11 high-water rescues, CBS News. These aren't minor incidents. These are catastrophic events that shattered communities. Governor Polis didn't hold back his frustration. He stated that Coloradans impacted by the disasters deserve better than the political games President Trump is playing, 9 News, and he emphasized how the resilience, courage, and willingness of Coloradans to help one another represents values that President Trump seems to have forgotten, 9 News. But it's not just the governor speaking out. Colorado's 2 Democratic senators, Michael Bennet and John Hickenlooper, also blasted the administration, with Bennet calling FEMA's denial unacceptable. Senator Hickenlooper made an even more pointed statement, saying this isn't a game and these are people's lives. The White House, however, pushed back on these accusations. White House spokesperson Abigail Jackson noted that during the fires, the administration mobilized 2 specialized aerial firefighting systems to support Colorado, and she insisted there were no political motives behind the denials. But here's the million-dollar question. Is this really just standard FEMA procedure, or is something else going on? The controversy doesn't exist in a vacuum. There's been escalating tension between Trump and Governor Polis over multiple issues, including the case of Tina Peters, a former county clerk now serving time for election interference, whom Trump wants released from Colorado prison. Trump has increasingly criticized Polis, even calling the governor weak and pathetic after Colorado refused to transfer Peters to federal prison. Trump's administration recently announced plans to shut down the National Center for Atmospheric Research in Boulder, which some Colorado officials described as political retribution against the state. This pattern raises serious questions about whether disaster relief, something that should be nonpartisan and based purely on need, is being weaponized for political leverage. Even some Republicans are concerned. Republican Representative Jeff Hurd, who represents Western Colorado, urged the administration to work on an appeal, noting that these communities have long supported the president and are now facing real consequences. So what happens next? Colorado has announced plans to appeal these denials, and the state's entire congressional delegation appears united in fighting for these communities. Governor Polis emphasized that the state doesn't have the capacity to continue providing assistance to local communities without federal support. This story forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. When disaster relief becomes political, it's not politicians who suffer most, it's ordinary families trying to rebuild their lives. The question we should all be asking is, should any American, regardless of their state's political leanings, be denied disaster assistance when they meet the criteria? What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown valuable, hit that subscribe button, because we're going to keep following this story as it develops. Thanks for watching.